Okay, YouTube must be online. Okay, Twitch.
Yeah. YouTube is fine.
Okay, Twitch.
Yeah. YouTube is fine. Yeah. YouTube is fine.
Okay, let's see what will happen still. Okay, seems that all the platforms are working. Okay,
YouTube and Twitch, yes. I need to check still. It works.
okay, then we'll be waiting for you to start.
Okay.
See you in this one.
Okay. Hello. Yes.
Okay. Okay. I noticed that my mic was again switched off and I turned it on. So I would appreciate if you just go to some of our streams, current ones, and check if everyone can hear us well.
Yeah, I can hear you on the stream.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
fine.
That's fine. Okay, guys. So good time of the day whenever you are and at whatever location and time you are watching us right now. So my name is Anton. I'm creative director of Beach Studio and Beastar Project. And today we, as usual, are making a stream with our marvelous co-host Daria.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm a community manager. If you have any questions, you can always ask them.
Okay, guys. So, as you already know, there is a common rule for all our streams that it's your time when you're talking to us. So feel free to join our open Discord channel where you can directly talk with us online and be part of our broadcast. And also you can drop your questions and ideas and comments in the comment sections of whenever you like. We are streaming on 3 platforms currently, on YouTube, on Twitch, and on Steam. So feel free to drop us a line or two about what you want to ask us about. Generally speaking, it's the way we always have our streams, that we are answering your questions first, and then we move to the topic which we currently planned for this broadcast. But to make sure that you don't miss out anything, and then you might drop questions which would be, more concerned with what we are going to talk about today. So you just maybe learn something new and interesting. Daria, could you please, in a few words, describe what's to be our main thing we'll be discussing?
Yeah, today we have an interesting topic. Actually, you guys asking about that on our social media quite a lot. So today I would like to tell about it more, and it's customization of characters in the game. Today we want to tell about it, show something. So stay with us. It should be interesting.
Yes, that's the thing that we're going to talk about customization, or in simple words, about skins, which we are planning to do and how we are planning to implement them in Beast Tower. Well, it wouldn't be just an exaggeration to say that this is one of the questions which we usually have in our social media about skins and the way you can change the look of your character. And that's why we've been working on that, I would say, part of the game for maybe half a year already, maybe just a bit more. Because you see, it's not just things that you need to draw some concept art, to put some ideas on the table between in front of the team, but it's also, or we just even make some 3D models, some rigging, skinning, and all other technical stuff. But generally, it's the most important and toughest question is to decide how all the system can be organized. Well, we all have the experience of skins in almost every multiplayer game which is currently on the market. Because people tend to like it, and of course it goes without saying that it's a mean for the developers to earn profit by selling these cosmetics. And from my point of view, there is nothing bad in that, because, well, that's the thing which people like, and it's not some main goal, and it doesn't usually make any difference in gameplay. It's just the way you look. So I would say that when we were studying the subject, we came across two main approaches. First of all, well, let's say that a thing which you can find, for example, League of Legends, it's just the whole suit, the whole look of the character, which is changed with just one item in your inventory, in one skin which you are turning on or off. And the second approach is to split the character into several parts, and each part can be customized separately. That's where you have tons of combinations which you can create. So, Daria, from what your point of view, what's the most interesting, or what are the pluses and minuses of both approaches? What do you think about that?
I believe that a customization, when you just change the whole look of the character, it's great, yeah. But also when you can change some some items between each other, I believe that it's more interesting because you can create completely unique look which you will like. I was just thinking about one moment that was kind of curious for me. I didn't expect that when the new Resident Evil remake was released. Capcom announced special skins for Leon and Ashley, and I was kind of surprised when I saw the look of Ashley when she was like an emo. emo, yeah. Yeah, I was surprised that that was interesting, but I wasn't just ready for that. Mm, that's I would put it simply black and purple. Yeah, I saw it. No, I actually don't know either. But they also added some looks from another game, Devil May Cry, that that was created that yeah. At first it should be a Resident Evil, but then it became a Devil May Cry, and in the remake they added some looks for main characters, like. No, no. Yeah. Oh, and here is a problem. There is no your voice on the stream.
I apologize for that. Okay. So now it's my time to tell some story. Well, I would say that as we have some time left, I would just tell two stories, which I really like. Let's start with a simple one, just to make it just brief one as a warm-up. So I believe a lot of people know about such MOBA as Smite, right? So it's a third-person MOBA game where you play different gods or maybe some mythological creatures and characters from different pantheons and countries and whatever. And at some point, they decided to make two cool skin series. The first series was Ninja Turtles. You know, these guys from the sewers, these ninjas and fighters with different weapons and green-looking cool guys. So I was really interested what type of abilities they would be using. That's why I watched several spotlights. And then it turned out that they decided not to make separate guest characters, like for example in Dead by Daylight, but they took 4 characters whose abilities at some point could resemble the work with different weapons the turtles wield, and just made these skins with some new animations and VFX for these characters. So it was a very, well, marvelous solution when they were taking the existing characters and turning them just in new ones by changing skins. Of course, skins were of the top level, where you change not only the geometry and textures, but also the animations and visual effects. And also they have the same idea when they were making a skin for Aang from the Avatar cartoon, you know, this famous series, when they took, if I'm not mistaken, Merlin, who was already as a character of the game, who was wielding the power of elements, and they used Aang as a skin for Merlin with changing voiceovers and all the visual stuff, and it worked really marvelously. So I would say that it's more professional story, because some people would say, well, it's too cheap and they should have made a new character and blah, blah, blah. Well, but still I believe it was a very smart move for the Smite guys. The second story, and it's a kind of a thing which I believe we share both with Daria. So I would maybe give out your little secret that you training in dances, and the type of dances you are studying is K-pop, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And thanks to Daria, I learned quite much about this cool thing, because when you are developing games, you never know from what source of inspiration would come. And you see, when you even watch movies, when you watch some music videos or some video clips, even of singers, there are lots of cool things like camera angles, like design, like moves, which can give you good food for thought. And in this case, it was very interesting and fresh experience for me to learn about K-pop. So Daria, thank you very much for enlarging my knowledge base. And you know that at some point, maybe around 2 or 3 years ago, guys, I honestly speaking don't remember the exact date, so put one in the comments. Riot Games, the creators of League of Legends, they created a virtual K-pop group called KDA. So the idea was pretty simple. 4 female characters from the game were put into a band of dancing, singing girls. 4 professional singers were hired, and a group of professional dancers who put the choreography of the dance, and the vocal girls, they sang the song. Daria, if I'm not mistaken, you are familiar with the singers, right? Could you tell a bit about them?
In the group there are 4 girls, but only 2 of them from a K-pop group, and 2 of them from just solo singers.
Yeah. So, and you see, the craziest thing was that, okay, the visuals, the actual visuals which the players would see are the computer models of actual computer characters, right? Voices are one people and dancing is other people, and it all mixed together just marvelously. And everyone was so crazy about this KDA pop group that I would say was amazed when I saw the whole wiki pages where people were describing, just putting together all small hints or maybe some information or maybe interviews which the developers would give regarding the group. All the stories of all these 4 girls, how they came to the group, how they learned to sing, to dance, and all other stuff. So it looked like a real, fan-made website for actual music groups and bands, which are just widespread among the internet. So it's just crazy how people look. Then it turned out that the skins were very, very popular among the community. So popular that they even made maybe 1 or even 2 more such bands of other characters from League of Legends. So it was just crazy how well that worked, honestly speaking. And for me, it was just a kind of the first time I saw how the game spreads really into other means of culture. Well, I would say that Riot Games is a kind of a company which really make a breakthrough when they made not only a cool game, but they made also a cool TV show. You know, the Arcane. It's just really, really good. I really admired it. And in case of this K-pop group, I even thought at some point that maybe they maybe are making some tours or concerts with these girls, and how it's possible, one would ask. You see, I saw the opening of some League of Legends championship in South Korea, when actually these girls were on the stage. I mean, of course, not computer ones, but the real singers. They were singing, dancing, and when you were watching that online, just the additional virtual reality was added to the frames. So these computer versions of singers were dancing and singing with them together. So that was just insane. So I just, okay, oh my God. So it's even possible to make the whole concert tour just working and using this approach. So insanely good. All right. So I think that it's time for us to move on. So please drop us questions and we'll just immediately answer them. But for now, I would just ask guys for a second because I need to connect the screen share in order to show you real examples of the skin system which we've been talking today about. Okay, let me do it for a second. Okay, Daria, could you please check if the image is on the screen?
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So, as I've said, here is a first level of customization, which we usually start. So, as you see, we have our Zealous. You'll all already know this character, that electricity will be dude with gloves, with glasses, long hair, and a long coat, and so on and so after. So in this case, we split the guy into three parts. It's the head, the arms, the body with legs, and we made skins which don't change the geometry, but we change the color scheme, the contrast scheme, and the materials of the model, so it has a completely new feeling. So I would say that we already shared this art in our social media, so you can take your time to find it in any network you are familiar with, like Twitter, Reddit, and so on, and have a look at that. And just to watch it closer and study some details. But Daria, could you remind me, I believe there was a kind of a voting when we made this post. So which version got the upper hand?
The most, I would say,
Popular?
not popular, like admirable, was the first, the third, and the fourth.
So
but in the comments, people mostly discussed about the third.
So you mean this green dude with golden elements, this black guy with red glasses, and this person with a brown cloak with green shoulders, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So guys, when we are making these skins, we try our best to make really new feeling. So it just not some color changing or maybe some easy fixes, but we want to make a new feeling. So in this case, we wanted to put forward some guy from some high council, maybe some judge, or maybe some really powerful state person, sorry. That's we use this green, gold, and red in order to make this feeling. The second one is a kind of a mad scientist idea, you know, some guy wearing the medicine, this clock. Everybody just is familiar with when we talk about mad scientists, and maybe covered with some dirt and blood. That's why he just looks a scary looking person with some scars on the face. The third dude is heavily inspired by such famous characters like Blade from Marvel and Neo from Matrix, right? And especially Neo was one of the great sources of inspiration when we were working on the Zealous clock. The fourth one is comes from ideas put forward by the Warhammer 40k universe, like some Inquisitor guy. And the last ones are usually a reference for the uniform of British soldiers at the times, I would say, of the War for Independence in the United States, or some period like that. So here come the red colors, which we looked, well, guys, honestly speaking, we didn't want to copy the uniform of British soldiers. We just were inspired with the color scheme, with the proportions of shapes and things like that. So here we have this red idea for a kind of an infantryman, and the blue color for a person who is serving at the Navy. So also you can notice that even the hair color and the hairstyle is changed in every variant. And we also would say that is a kind of idea. I don't know how fast we can come to that, but it's a thing which we are looking for. Then we would change the type of the visual effect on the gauntlets. So here we have some powerful light. Here we have some bubbles. And in the third variant, it's a kind of, boiling blood or something like that. For the Inquisitor, we have this red lightning and a kind of a mist which is used for this a kind of a British officer approach. Okay, so here is the way the whole suit works together in the idea when you don't change the geometry of the person, of the character. Here comes the second list where we show how the general idea of combinations work. So if you work on these small sketches where we have the full suit like a, some ninja looking samurai, a kind of a beast hunter guy, or the mad scientist, which we already saw on the previous frame. And now, as you see, we combine them together. So we take a head from one, the body from another, and arms from the third variant. And here how it all works. And it works pretty nice, because when we are making these skins, these new looks, we always try to reference to the movies, video games, other media, which to some extent are in the same stylish solution like we are, something dark, steampunk, horror, or stuff like that. So, and you see, in this case, we have a head of the mad scientist, body of a samurai, and arms of the beast hunter. And it works nice. Then, basing on the body of the beast hunter, adding arms of the mad scientist, and a heart of the samurai, we have a completely new way how it looks, a new shape. And here, although it looks familiar to the mad scientist, but this white hair, green glasses, and different gloves make a completely new feeling, especially if we have this recoloring of the visual effect of the lighting. So that's it, how it works for all the raiders. So you just take different parts and combine them together whenever you like. Some might say that it would create the problem that some parts may be not really suitable style-wise. Well, as I've said earlier, we try to solve this problem by using good references, which are just in the same style. But still, on the one hand, it's the choice of the character, how his or her, player, how his or her character will look like, right? That's why we just give people freedom to decide what they want and how they want it to be done. Secondly, well, of course, Beastau is a kind of serious game with lots of horror, with a lot of, some tough situations, monsters and blood. But still, game is game. It's about fun and having some cool emotions and maybe just making some kind of a, jokes, right? That's why it's okay if somebody wants to, make fun of other people and just to show some crazy stuff. Because, well, That's how things work. It's okay. It's still games. So we are not really so concerned that it would break some idea of the game, that if people would make something which maybe look a bit strange. Okay, let's move to beasts. And as I've said, when we were starting working on beasts, it became just obvious that we can't split them in parts, because just mixing, for example, like this one, you see the body of the default body of a werewolf with a body of white werewolf, so you just can't take a head from here and put it there. It just would look just too strange, because there is no transition. You should need how fur should change and blah blah blah. So after several prototypes, after discussing, we decided that we would have just simple but really working and understandable system. First of all, we have 3 types of bodies. For example, just in this case, just to make you some example how it works. Default ones, zombie-looking body, and cyborg. And then we have 3 suits. Armor with helmet, torn clothes with a monocle, and the hunting rope with a necklace of skulls. And then on the left side, when we use different colors from the coloring for the default body, we mix together all these elements. For example, here we have the hunter's robe and the helmet from the armored version. There we have the armored body with a monocle and 2 types of different colors of suits, one with a green monocle and another with a necklace of skulls. And it works pretty nice, because you see, at first we wanted to split the suit into 2, so there would be, I would say, some separate trousers and separate t-shirt, but when we were mixing it together, it sometimes looked so strange that we decided that, okay, it would be easier to mix together just the whole suit and some part from the head, because head is one of the key attention points where you pay your attention to on the character. So even a small monocle just drastically influences the look of the character. So here is how we what we thought about the system, how we built it. So please leave your questions in the comments, and to let us know more about what you think about it, maybe what ideas about the skins and other customization approaches you might have, and we will be definitely looking through them and give you the answers. Okay, Daria, we want to move to the next part of our talk. Just quickly say what is your thought about what actually we decided to create, and how you think it works, and what you like most about that.
You mean what we add in the game now?
I mean, just
about
customization. I mean the general approach which we just were talking about, like splitting radius into parts and adding elements on top of the naked body of monsters.
First of all, what I want to say is that I'm in love with these sketches for the future customization, because they're all looking really great, and I can't wait when they will be in the game, and I can mix them and use. And also about splitting parts, I believe that it's a good idea, and if to compare with Dead by Daylight, I believe that they mostly they have skins that can be mixed with each other, but some of them can't be split, and they're just like a whole suit. And I believe that it's not a problem to maybe make some skins in the same way?
Yeah, I also just want to note that it's a very smart of you of mentioning Dead by Daylight, because you see, guys, we were shy to say that Dead by Daylight is a huge source of inspiration for us, and that's why, of course, we studied its customization system, because lots of our players are people who like this game and who also like Beast Tower, because it's a kind of a new step in developing the asymmetric PvP horror genre. And yeah, you have this approach of splitting things, putting things on bodies and stuff like that. And I just want to note one very interesting stuff which I noticed. In Dead by Daylight, that there are quite a few guest characters. All these guest characters are owned, well, by some other companies and some other authors. I mean, like the Freddy Krueger, like, I don't know, the Scream, and all other maniacs and um, crazy evil dudes and girls which you can play in DBD. And as far as I know, there are some characters which can't be customized at all, like Freddy Krueger. There is no items, no suits for them.
Yeah, because of his franchise.
Yeah, because they don't want to have the look changed, because, well, it's the policy of the franchise holder, and DBD, of course, need to respect that. But some of them, yeah, they have the separate suit. I believe one of the recent, well, not really recent one, but this some person from hell, this dude with a bald hair and all the needles in that, something like that. I believe he has maybe one or two suits available.
Yeah, he has. Also, even Michael Myers has a set.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, quite cool. Well, of course, we often mentioned that we would love to have a guest character in Beast Tower. Well, as far as I remember, among the teams there are three popular ideas regarding this topic. First of all, my personal favorite is Prince of Persia from the Warrior Within part, of course, because, well, this game also gave us a big chunk of inspiration of a nimble parkour guy escaping from a big, huge beast, unstoppable monster. The second idea which people really like is some, I believe, some character who was played by Jackie Chan. Because for me personal, it's a guy who really invented parkour, because it was just formed into a sport discipline. Because we all watched as kids his movies and were admiring his tricks and stunts, which are just crazy. And one thing which I was really, really amazed when the people said about it is to have as a guest characters Ninja Turtles and Shredder. Of course, I don't know. Because turtles are not really humans, but they are good guys and they are not monsters. Well, generally speaking, raiders are not really good guys in Beast Tower universe, but still they at least not monsters. So should Ninja Turtles be raiders or beasts? Well, I still think that they should be raiders. But if we talk about Shredder, well, this is some kind of a villain. He's not a good guy. And making him a raider makes sense because he's a human and a kind of a real ninja. But still, being a kind of a negative person, maybe being a kind of a beast, makes sense. Who knows? Daria, what do you think about these ideas? And maybe you have some your own favorite ones.
That would be interesting to see turtles as raiders. I believe it would be cool, and I don't know. I wasn't thinking about characters that I would love to see in Beast Tower, so it's hard to me to say now.
You see, I was really, you see, it was really interesting to see how in Dead by Daylight they had the guest characters for the Resident Evil characters. And I really liked how they explained why they don't use any weapons like guns or maybe some other stuff which they are really proficient with in Resident Evil games. Or you remember in the teaser for Resident Evil DLC when they are running away from Nemesis, right? They start shooting with guns in this unstoppable beast and run out of ammo. And then when they run away, they jump over some ledge, very simple vault move from DBD, and then Nemesis started chasing them. That's the idea that, well, they actually have no bullets when they were running away from Nemesis, they shot everything through. And but one thing which always makes me, a bit questionable is Ash from the Evil Dead, and actually the Bruce Campbell character, or sorry, author or actor who was portraying Ash in all the movies and all the TV shows, he was in charge of the voiceover, and he was also a person who he was shown in the teaser of the character. Just maybe a bit off top, but you might have seen this new teaser of a new character for DBD portrayed by Nicolas Cage.
Yeah,
And
I wanted to say about it too.
yeah, and nobody knows whenever he would be a villain or a survivor. And it was just for me, why Nicolas Cage? What kind of, I don't even remember some of his roles which may suit for that, because he was either a kind of a, playing some dramatic roles or just playing some action heroes. And at least Ash from Evil Dead, he was a person who was fighting undead. And I don't remember some roles by Nicolas Cage where he was just maybe portraying some supernatural creatures or maybe some hunters for supernatural creatures. Maybe you remember once.
No, I'm not kind of familiar with his works, but still, that's astonishing.
Yeah,
Uh,
because he's
uh,
whenever a lot of people make fun of him. Yes, and especially in the recent maybe 10 years, he is not a kind of a really shining, but he's still the top level Hollywood star. You can't take it from him.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's why it's just makes a lot of just interest just to figure out, okay, what they're gonna do with him.
Oh, Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider. Somebody dropped us a note in the comments.
In the comments, yeah.
Yes, that I completely forgot about the Ghost Rider. But you see, that would be really make a point, because Ghost Rider is a kind of a person who is chasing people for their sins. So he's a kind of a punisher, or maybe the executor, because he just taking out the vengeance and of supernatural things and stuff like that. But you see in the teaser when they show Cage, he's not wearing any clothing which is similar to Johnny Blaze one. I mean, no leather jacket, no such biker trousers or things like that. So, and even if I'm not mistaken, Johnny Blaze, who's actually the first Ghost Rider, he would never wore having a beard, and the character of Nicholas is having a beard in the teaser. Well, let's see how it would work
Yeah.
out. Okay, guys, now let's come to the most, I believe, interesting part. I would just show you the current build of the game, right? Okay. Okay, just give me a couple of seconds to do it. So what we gonna do next? So I would just show you the current build, where you will learn how we actually are prototyping the whole skin system about which we'll be talking for the past hour. All right, it would take just some time for that to launch. Okay, it's nearly ready. It's nearly ready, guys. Okay, just give me a second. All right. And here we go. Okay. Derek, could you tell if the video from the game is showing on the screen?
Mm,
According to...
yeah.
Okay, yeah. So guys, let's get started with Raiders, because that's how we started telling. Okay, just the current UI, which is used to switch skins, is of course very draft ones, and we use it for testing purposes only, so don't take it as a final version, of course. Because even on the, you know, this kind of images, the special notes, what type of the file in the game reflects the current look, which is just a kind of thing we use for debugging. So let's choose Zealous, press this magical green box, and here you can see the whole variety of different arms, bodies and heads which can change. For example, I can change the color of his gloves, put on a completely orange suit. Yes, we use this simple and very just contrast and maybe in some case funny looking parts of bodies and other parts of the character in order to make it easier to analyze if everything is working, right? Like green hair, like this, some of Christmas hat, things like that. So yeah, and now we can customize the way we like the look of the character, right? So it works nice. The same goes with Udoku. So you can change different types of heads, bodies, and a kind of a way to, you know, to hide the seam. Yes, we use this necklace she's wearing. The same goes with arms. So you can change the type of geometry, have different recolors for the geometry, and so on and so after. So that's how it works with Raiders. So you just split the model into parts and combine them together whenever you like. Let's go to the beast. Here we have, okay, let me just show you. This is the base variant of our werewolf. So we can change the body color, the body shape, whenever we like. Then add these monocolors, which are extremely huge ones, so we can easily notice them into the game. And for example, so shoulder customization, like this, shoulder pads. Okay. Same goes with the vampire, different bodies, different necklaces or collars, whenever you want to color them, and even different trousers, which comes for the suit part. So you can customize everything above neck and below neck, and also the body itself. Yeah, and after you've decided what you like as a developer, okay, for example, this type of the look, you just go into the game, and now we'll see that it's actually working. And you see why we're using all this stuff and not making the final versions of the skins which already shown you. That's a very simple answer is time. Because everything which we do while developing the game is calculated time-wise. It's the most precious currency which any developer could have. That's why, in order to avoid any reworks and any problems, both for changing the ideas of the skins and the need to redraw the concept art, or, which is far more worse, to remake the ready 3D models, because the splitting system turned out to be working differently. Some other stuff is not working the way you decided. So we came across this simple approach that we use. The very existing models make the simplest recolors and change shapes of the existing parts just by scaling them, or maybe just some really simple 3D operations which a person can think of. Still, I need to notice that when we first showed this system to the team, it was just crazy how people reacted. Daria, could you remind a bit how it worked out when we just said, okay, guys, now we have some simple skins and you can try them out? What happened then on our team playtest?
I personally was surprised because I didn't expect the system will appear in the game so soon. But on that playtest, everybody just wanted to try it as fast as they can, and they tried to mix everything. That was fun.
Yeah,
And what I must mention that I still can't believe that this monocle, that that it's a monocle and not a head
you mean
on the beast,
of the beast? Yeah.
on the
That,
werewolf.
yeah. Just today we were discussing with you this thing, and you just told me, "Well, stop, man. Is it really a monocle? I thought it's kind of a strange hat this this dude is wearing." Yeah, that's funny. Because
Yeah,
see, the monocle is really a small one, and in order to avoid any just problem with analyzing how well it just shows into the game, so I mean, it's not creating any problems that you can't it doesn't it's not shown by the system from the right distance and stuff like that. We just made this monocle really huge, so it just ridiculously huge. Well, but still, guys, you see, it's a kind of a prototypes, and in order to make prototypes work, you need to just make them really simple and don't just be too crazy about the details and stuff like, okay, some final art, because it just really doesn't pay off. It usually just mostly takes too much resources, and you just sometimes need to have several prototypes, making them from the scratch. And in this case, you'll just waste too much time doing stuff, just 100% final version. So yeah, so guys, if at any point you decide to become a game developer, always remember that your prototypes should be as cheap as possible, because you are just figuring out how things work, and if they don't, you will just spend so much effort. If you do it 100% ready and good looking, that it would be just really frustrating if you need to drop everything away. It was a kind of a stuff which really happened with us. I mean, not when we were working on the skin system, but we were working on the map, and we have a whole article describing this, I would say, really tough situation when we were at some point, a couple of, well, maybe 3 years ago, when we saw that, okay, we're almost ready with the game, we just need to add the UI, we need to make some polishing, and we just be ready for playtesting and stuff like that. And we had almost 100% ready map, which was quite small one. It was just not a city, it was a castle, and with lots of decoration, with lots of cool things already be done. And then at some point we figured out that, oh dude, man, it's not interesting really to play this game. It was so frustrating, it was so damaging, that we needed to throw away a whole almost ready map and do the new one from just zero, just with a new blocking, with a new gray boxing. And we spent around maybe half a year on creating just the prototype of this new map. And only after we were completely, happy with this map, we started decorating it. And, well, not really decorating, but replacing the gray boxes with some geometry. And it was a very careful approach, which really paid off, because at some point, when almost all gray boxing was removed from the game, we just figured out that we needed to rework the map once more. I mean, not completely, but quite seriously. And just having this, colored boxes instead of houses, instead of final models, helped out just to make some changes, which really made the map far better, and to move to the variant which we are currently having in the game. That's it. That's why, guys, prototypes and prototypes. Cheap prototypes, what makes you pay off. that idea. Okay, it seems that we're coming to the end of our stream, so we have a couple minutes left. So if you have any questions or comments, please drop some in the, any broadcasting website which you're watching us on, Steam, Twitch, YouTube. We'll be more than happy to answer them right now, or just drop you some notes in the comments. Okay, so one more thing which I would like to say, that guys, you see, when we are starting working in skins, we at some point thought that okay, it would be something really boring, because you see, just a kind of a thing which we should be doing because it's a kind of a requirement from the current multiplayer game. But then when we were decided, okay, and let's make it all the skins and the skin system so that it would be interesting for us just as a developers, so we'd be crazy about that. And after we started working on every skin like a story of a new character, it really made it shine, and just the artists and all other team members just gone crazy about, okay, that's really cool, that's really nice, we should be doing it, and I want to play this skin, and it's really 100% cool of me to offer this stuff to our players. And that's really cool feeling, because you see, when you mix together all this, I would say, of course, monetization policy with some creative process, it's just a really cool thing. Really cool thing. Okay, so now it's all the time which we are, our stream should be lasting, is coming to the end. So Daria, is there anything you would like to add to the current topic, or maybe just say something to our players for now?
I would just thank you guys that were there today. It was fun. And I hope you enjoy it. If you have any ideas about customization, any thoughts, so please leave them on our social media. It would be interesting to see what you think.
Yeah, just before we finish, I just want to just give a quick look on the werewolf, because it's our kind of a signature character in the game. So because everyone just knows that Beast Tower is parkour with werewolves, or parkour away from werewolves. So this is how the skin looks. Yeah, just a bit Hulk looking heads and all this crazy stuff around. But still, it's really funny and people like it. That's why, guys, even you do some serious things, don't be afraid to make some funny jokes. It always makes a good mood in the team and in the community. So, guys, for now, thank you very much for joining us today. It was great, and thanks Daria for all the hosting and co-hosting for me. It's really nice. Thank you very much. So, as I always say, the beast will come. Have the best end of the weekends possible, and don't forget to subscribe to us in social media. Likes and shares makes a difference for us.